All right, we're going to call the Florida Clerk of Court and try to get Joe Hovind's sentencing transcript. 850-435-8440.
This is the United States District Court for the Northern District of Florida, Pensacola Division. This is a federal court. If you are calling for the Escambia County Courthouse, their phone number is 595-4310. The office hours for the federal clerk's office are Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Central Time. If you know your party's extension, press the pound key. Press 1 for our mailing address and website address. Press 0 to speak with the deputy clerk. Thank you and have a great day. Wait while I transfer your call. Good morning, clerk's office.
Hello, I'm having a little bit of trouble finding a particular document, and I was wondering if I give you the case number, maybe you could help me find the document number?
Absolutely. What's that case number?
Oh, great. Praise God. Okay. The case number is, it's 3:CR-00083.
Okay, one more time. It's 3:06-CR.
Yes. Dash. Okay. Dash 00083.
Oh, I didn't have enough zeros. Okay.
Yep. Dash MC and then dash MCR.
Is it Kent Hovind?
Yeah, that's it. Kent Hovind. That's it.
Okay, let's see. Yes.
Okay. And I have a question.
Okay, sure.
Let me know when you're ready.
Okay, I have it up.
Okay, so yeah, I'm familiar with his Kent Hovind sentencing transcript. Let me tell you what date that occurred on. I'm looking for his wife's sentencing transcript. I found Kent Hovind's, but I'm having a hard time finding his wife's.
Okay, let me find out. Let's see. Let me see.
It's really. I'm not an expert in this Pacer, but the
what's his wife's name?
Joe Hovind.
Is it Joe? Okay.
Yeah, J-O.
Okay, he's listed as defendant 1, and she is listed as defendant 2.
Okay. Yep, and I'm going to log into Pacer as well just right now.
Okay, sure.
So I found the document number where his trial transcript where he got sentenced. But I'm having a hard time finding the trial transcripts where she gets sentenced.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, these are older cases. There's a lot of stuff in here.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, I found, okay. History documents. Okay, let's see. I think, let me just bring it up real quick. I think this is going to cost me $3. I think the document that I have is document 262. It's 125 pages.
Okay.
That's the document that I have, 262. You know so I'm looking for the document that actually that has Mr. Hovind's sentencing. I think it occurred. Let me find the specific date that it occurred. That occurred on January the 19th, 2007. It's document number 262. But he said that his wife got sent...
262 on here. is dated February 8th, 2008. And what date do you have on yours?
Well, I think that might be the date that it got uploaded. It says filed and entered, right? So on January the 19th, 2007, could it have taken that long to get filed and entered even after it occurred? I don't know.
I don't know. Let's see. Let me find out.
But yeah, it's definitely the same page numbers, 125 pages.
Right. Okay, let's see. Let me see. Can you hold 1 second?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Yes, sir. Oh, sorry, hold on. Yes, sir.
That's right.
Yes, sir. Oh,
Your total is $8.71.
great. Is that for both emails?
Yep.
Okay, well, you're going to get that out today. Hey, Michael, you guys are going to be a real blessing. Really appreciate it, sir.
Not a problem, man. You have a wonderful day.
Okay, expect some more emails coming from you. I'll probably be sending a few over the next week or two.
Okay, we look forward to it.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Hello, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay. Sorry, we were having problems with the phone. We could hold 1 second. I'll transfer you to someone in that department that can assist you.
Okay.
Okay, hold please. Hi, this is Sue. May I help you?
Hi, Sue. I'm trying to find a particular document and a particular case number, and I have the case number, and I'm having a little bit of trouble, and I was hoping maybe you could help me out.
Okay.
You ready for the case number, ma'am?
I think they gave it to me already. 306CR83.
Yes, ma'am. That's it. And
Okay.
I think document 262 is Kent Hovind's sentencing transcript. It's 125 pages, which I have already. And I'm looking for Joe Hovind's sentencing transcript. And I'm having a hard time finding that one.
Let's see.
Another trouble I'm having, and maybe you can help me while you're looking that up, is you know how you click on the document, it says view document, but when I'm expecting a PDF file to come up, but it doesn't bring up a PDF file at all, and I'm afraid it charged me the $3 for that particular document. I've clicked on that button like 5 times. That's $15, you know?
Wow.
And it's the same document I'm paying for over and over again, but it never comes up. I don't know what's going on.
Okay, let me see. I think they were sentenced on the same day, but let me just
Okay, I've got...
double check that.
Yeah, let me share, and this is for Mr. Hovind's recollection. He said he was sentenced, and then he said his wife got sentenced because of the appeal process, like maybe a year later. Now, I don't know if his recollection is off a little bit, but that's what he told me.
Okay, let's see. So she was sentenced 6/29/07.
Yeah, he was sentenced January 19th, 2007, if I'm not mistaken, right? According to the 100...
Yes,
okay.
that's what I'm saying, yes.
So
okay, and
she would have been sentenced, I guess, 2008 or late 2007, I guess, if Mr. Hovind's recollection is correct.
okay, it looks like they were both supposed to be sentenced that same day, January 19th, 2007, and on that day they continued hers until March 1st, 2007, so let me look at March 1st and see if it happened. Sometimes things get continued and continued. So
Yeah, I understand.
it don't show anything on March 1st. 28th.
Are you? I guess you're probably a lot more familiar with the Pacer system than I ever was. But I got a quick question. On one computer, it seems to work. When I click on it, it brings up the PDF file. But on another computer, when I click on it, it brings up a file called show_temp.pl, but I don't actually get the file. And I must have tried that like 5 times. And so since the documents can be $5 a piece, that was like $25, and I didn't even get the document, and I had to go to another computer that that ended up working. Is that normal, or is that just part of the?
I have not heard of that happening before.
Okay.
I know cases that are like older than maybe 2003 or 2004 criminal cases. It's hard to bring up the. Sometimes people have a hard time opening the documents, or they all show the whole case is sealed.
Okay.
But
okay, well, no big deal.
I've not heard of that problem.
I'll let me ask you this: if it ends up being where I paid like $30 for a document that I only got one time, is there a way that I can go recollect that, or is if I look on the Pacer, is there a?
I would look on the Pacer website itself and see if there's any way to contact them, because they're separate from us.
Okay.
But I did just find
perfect.
It looked like Joe Hovind was sentenced on June 29th of 2007.
What's the document number?
She did appeal, so I would think that her sentencing transcript would have been done. Let's see.
There's a lot of sealed documents. I hope those sealed documents aren't the sentencing transcript, you know.
Yeah, let's see. Okay, document 252 looks like it's her sentencing transcript.
Let me
See that? It's not sealed on our docket.
let me see. Oh, I don't even have. When I did my query, I said show only documents. I said show only events with documents, and 252 doesn't even show up. But let me go back and rerun the query. You're saying there's a document with that?
Yes.
Okay, hold on.
It's 62 pages.
252?
Yes, 252.
That's weird that it would be before Kent, because Kent was sentenced before she was. You know what I mean? It's even though she was sentenced after he was, her document number is before his. That's kind of weird. Okay, I don't even show 252 in my list. It goes from 249, 250, 251 to 254.
Are you looking at just just Kent Hovind?
Oh yeah, I sure am. You know, I
you
did
need to select her or select both of them?
Oh, okay, hold on. When I did my Pacer query, I queried on his name. Okay, let me go back and query on her name. Okay. I'll get the hang of this eventually. It's going to cost me like $500, but that's all right. Joe Hovind. Okay, I'm going to click on now. I'm going to click on 83. I'm going to click on history documents. I'm going to click on all events, and let's go down and see if I get to 252. 252. Look at that. Okay, it's just a matter of educating me. Let me view the document, and this is 62 pages, and let me see here. Okay, it's weird, huh? Okay, but you're thinking this is the document where she gets sentenced?
That's the original sentencing. Now, you said something about they may have been resentenced, and that's what I was going to look at after an appeal.
Yeah, I think that's the one I need.
Because it does seem like they came back for
yeah, that's the one I need.
something.
There is a record of proceedings. Oh, 262 on Joe is going to be the same thing as 262 on Kent, right? I mean, they don't use the same number.
No, each document has its own, or docket entry has its own number.
Okay.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Let me do a search and see if I can find another judgment.
252, 30 pages. 62 pages. Oh, let's see. It's crazy. You know, I've noticed that some of these documents, they actually have the document number inside the document, and some of them don't, you know. So it's just that when I get a document, it's hard for me to tell what the document number is, so I know if I've downloaded it. So I've got to make a very good, meticulous notes.
It doesn't have like a header on it that says the case number and the document number?
Some of them do, but for instance, Kent Hovind's sentencing transcript, which is 262, that does not. That does not. So some of them do and some of them don't. It's kind of weird.
Okay. I don't see another judgment for either one of them except for Kent Hovind filed a, let me get back to that. It looked like he filed what we call a 2255 motion, a motion to reduce his sentence. And that, usually people file that after they've gone through the appeal phase. Let me see that now again.
Yeah, it's so weird because I'm told that her sentencing transcript from after the time, Kent Hovind got his sentencing definitely should be in there, but I've looked all throughout it.
So, are you finding document 252?
Yes, I found that, yes.
Okay.
But that was before, that must have been her initial sentencing, and then Kent Hovind was sentenced, and they must have appealed it, and then Kent Hovind said a year later, they had a resentencing, and maybe it wasn't a sentencing, but I'm looking for a particular instance where his son, Eric Hovind, came in and testified about some previous events, and there was a particular statement made, and it may not have been a sentencing, maybe it was just another. I do know that she was in court, and he said it was about a year later after he was sentenced. So it had been a year later after January 19th, 2007. So
Okay.
it would have been around 2008.
Okay.
But this says filed and entered. The date on Pacer says filed and entered. It can take a long time to get filed and entered, right? That's not the date that it occurred. Is that true?
Right. It should show that it was like her sentencing took place on June 29th, 2007. That it should say that right under the case number on the first page of the transcript.
Oh, hold on. You're talking about document 252?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And then his was 260. His sentencing transcript was document 262, but it shows on the first page of his transcript that the hearing took place on January 19th, 2007. Right underneath the case number, it has the time. And actually, she was supposed to be sentenced on that day as well, but in that transcript, it probably explains why it was continued.
Right, and so
on 262.
Right, and so I have Joe Hovind's 252 document.
Right.
I'm sorry, 263 document. 263 document. I'll have to go look for 252, but there's got to be a document where her son Eric came in and gave testimony witness. It may not have been a sentencing, but it could have been another type of document.
Let me see. So
request certificate of readiness, appeal record. Maybe it's appeal record. Let me look at 275 maybe.
do you think he just spoke on behalf of his mother? Because I know he did speak. He addressed the court. He didn't necessarily testify at her sentencing.
Maybe he just addressed the court. Yeah, maybe he just addressed the court.
Because I show family, friends speak on defendant's behalf, and he's one of the people who are...
Yeah, where's that at? What document number is that?
Well, that's the minutes of... That's 216. That's the minute entry of...
Okay, now what's confusing me is... we're talking about something that happened after document 262, right?
Well, let me explain what happens, okay? When there's a hearing, there is a court reporter present at the hearing. Pretty much every hearing that has a district judge. So everything that was before Judge Rodgers, every hearing there is a court reporter. But the court reporter doesn't transcribe those hearings unless somebody orders a transcript of it. So you can have transcripts that have all different kinds of document numbers. You know, if they ordered a transcript from 2014 before they asked for a transcript of 2006, you know, it's going to go by document. It's when the transcript is actually filed.
Okay.
The hearing date is one thing, but when somebody asks for a copy of a transcript to be transcribed, then and pays the court reporter for it, then that transcript is filed. So the transcript file date really is totally different from the date that the hearing took place. That's why I said underneath the case number on the first page of the transcripts is where it tells you what date that hearing took place, and it usually will explain or describe the hearing, whether it was a trial or sentencing or a motion hearing or something like that. But it seems like they did have some type of other hearing that I.
Okay, so I'm not going to get worked up about the order of the numbers. I understand that, but the other thing, just as a comment, is I have to download the document to see when it occurred. I can't tell when it occurred. Like before I download it, we know, and it's like I've already paid for it. So like, you know what I mean? It's like there's hundreds of documents, and each document can be.
Okay, well, if you look at the description, say 262, for example.
Yeah.
The description of that. Are you?
I'm logged into Pacer.
Now I don't know if there's more than one way to look at a docket sheet on Pacer. You were asking for. Let me see. When you did a query,
I typed in Joe Hovind and I clicked on the 83 case number.
But did you click on history/documents?
Yes, that's exactly what I did.
Click on docket report if you can get that.
Okay, hold on.
If that's a choice, because that describes each docket entry.
Okay,
that way you can see.
Yeah, I clicked on docket report and it brought up a lot of fields that it expects me to fill out, but I can just hit run report without putting anything in there?
Yes, I think so. I don't know. Does it charge you for a docket report? I don't want you to get charged.
Well, I just
this.
I know it's pretty close. I just clicked on it, so whatever. Oh, look at this. It did bring up a lot of stuff. I got a ton of stuff here now.
Yeah, but it describes, so like say without having to click and open up, 262 or 250.
Oh, okay. It
should say that it's a sentencing held on January 19th or whatever the date is, or that it's a trial proceeding.
Now, this docket report, is that for both Joe and Ken, or is it only for Joe?
If you left in for both of them, then it's probably for both of them. If you selected the case rather than.
Okay.
And if both.
Okay.
There are some entries that are going to show up on, even if you selected one defendant, there are some entries that are just going to show up on all of the defendants' docket reports. But then there are other things that might just show up on the particular.
Okay. All right. Okay, so here's the deal. Let's just. I've got this document. I think it's 262. And we know that Ken Hovind was sentenced, and he was sentenced on January 19, 2007. If Ken Hovind's recollection is correct, his wife was given a sentence probably around January of 2008, somewhere around there.
She was sentenced in June of 2007.
But that would... Okay, if that's true, then she did an appeal process and she either was resentenced or they brought back in her son. I'm looking for, it may not, and you're right, I may be using the wrong word, sentencing transcript, but her son was brought in somewhere around January of 2008 to say something, right, to address the court and to give some sort of testimony. And I gotta find that place where he comes in and says some things. And, so it'd be around January it could be February 2008 too. And so how do I find that date? What's the date? The date in the column on the left is what?
There should be a column that just has everything by date
Oh,
a date order.
Yeah, date filed. Now, is date filed the date it occurred?
That would be, if it was a hearing, it would be the date that the hearing took place.
Oh, okay. So if I go to January 2000...
I don't show any hearings that took place in, let's see. I'm looking while you're talking to me. I'm also looking.
I see something, 258, looks like transcript of trial proceedings.
Well, that would have been a transcript of one of the days of the jury trial, which would have taken place before they were sentenced. It just happened that that's when the court reporter filed it.
Okay. It's still not clear to me, and I'm sorry to be such a pain, but it's...
Okay. Now, say on, I don't know what... Let's do it all. Let's pretend this all happened in 1 year. So, say in January they had a jury trial.
Okay.
And February, one of them was, Kent Hovind was sentenced. And in March, Joe Hovind was sentenced. Well, the court reporter may not be asked to do those transcripts till the following year, and she might get the request to do Joe Hovind's transcript of the sentencing that took place in March before she even gets a request to do the trial transcripts. So as the court reporter gets requests to do transcripts of these hearings or trials, then they file them electronically, or now it's electronic. Back then I can't remember if it was electronic. But so the date that the transcript is actually filed is just the date that the court reporter prepared the transcript.
Right, and so...
It has no other significance whatsoever, so you have to look on the entry to see if there's a date that it gives, and if there's a description of the type of transcript, or look on the first page.
Okay.
But without having to open up the document, most entries for transcripts do either link it to what we call a minute entry, and the minute entries are every time there's a court proceeding, there's a minute entry for that proceeding. So that's, I don't know if that's helping at all, but
no, that does.
Transcripts are filed, usually sometimes much later. Sometimes they're never filed. If no one asks for a transcript to be prepared, then they may never be filed.
Right. Now, let me just ask you this, and this is a bigger picture question because I'm trying to understand the bigger picture, and I really appreciate your time, ma'am. So let's say you got a stenographer in the courtroom. My understanding is they're like hitting some sort of typewriter. I mean, I know it's fancier than that, and it puts it on some electronically, records. It's not the actual audio. There's no voice recording of what goes in the courtroom, right? I mean, it's not like I can play, just hit I'm old school, right? Just hit the play button. You can actually just hear everything that they said. There's nothing like that.
Well, nowadays, the court reporters usually do have as a backup to, double check their transcript for accuracy. They do have some type of recording.
Okay.
They don't sell, there is no official court recording for these. I mean, that's just sort of a backup thing for them to double check their
I see.
Their work.
Oh, I see. Okay.
In case
because if there was claims that there was discrepancies about the actual transcript, it would be great to get that, but you're saying that's not available to the public. That's just something they do.
No.
Okay.
And they all do something different.
Gotcha. Okay.
It gets more high tech as time goes on, but I am not sure what. Okay. I can't remember in 2006. It could have been a tape cassette.
I gotcha.
They had.
Okay.
And that's something that the court reporter, they do it for their use.
Yeah. Well, so the bottom line is, in order to find Joe Hovind's.
But the parties, let me explain this. When a court reporter prepares a transcript, both attorneys for the government and for the defendant have an opportunity to look at that transcript. And if they have any, if there are any discrepancies, they are supposed to bring it to the court reporter's attention.
Well, the person that I'm calling for, Dr.Kent Hovind, he does claim there is a discrepancy. So what would your recommendation be that he do so I can forward that on to him as far as what he needs to do about that?
This many years later, I do not know.
Okay.
All I can say is at the time, his attorney would have had the opportunity. Let me see how those transcripts.
Well, you know what he said. This is another thing that he told me. And I'm just, I appreciate. He said that it took 16 months for him to get the transcript, the trial transcripts, and that he wouldn't have even known that there was a discrepancy until 16 months later, and even though he requested it much sooner. So that was another thing.
He had an attorney who represented him, so that would be his attorney. The court reporter, I would assume his attorney would have dealt directly with the court reporter in ordering his transcripts.
Right.
And then he would have, and then his attorney would have probably sent them to Mr. Hovind. Mr. Ritchie, I think, was his attorney at the time.
Okay. Yeah, Mr. Ritchie, that's right. Okay. You've been very, very helpful. I appreciate your time. What, do you mind if I get your name just so when I call back I can talk to you, because you seem so knowledgeable about what's going on?
My name is Sue.
Sue. Okay, Sue. Mm-hmm. All right. And I guess the only thing that I still have missing that I still got to find is this sentence. I call it a sentencing transcript for Joe Hovind. It very well could not be that. It could be something else. But any advice as we? I know you got to go back to work, but any advice you can give me on how to find this thing that occurred somewhere around January of 2008, just to read the descriptions, I guess, is what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, just look by date and see, on the docket sheet, just, look at the date and go through that. I couldn't see anything when I was looking between, you said it would have been in 2008.
Well, it would have been January 2008 or December of 2007 or somewhere thereabouts. I would say a month before or a month after, because Dr. Hovind recommended, his recollection says it was a year later after that January 2007 date. So that would put it January 2008. So I'm going to go a couple months after or a couple months before.
Well, I see that Joe Hovind was sentenced in the end of June 2007. There were no other hearings in that case between then and the end of that year.
Where was she sentenced in June of 2007? You know what number that is? Was that 250 something?
216.
216. Let me. Minute entry. Okay. I'll go ahead and buy that one as well.
And then I don't see.
Oh, that doesn't have any minutes. I paid for this one already. This thing is like a money.
That's a minute. That's a minute entry. That shows what kind of hearing it was, who was there, and what happened during it. It shows in it basically in the time how long it lasted. Yeah,
it doesn't. You can't figure this stuff out until you pay for it. You know what I mean? Yeah. What a system. Okay, so 216 didn't. I mean, that's not. That doesn't have anything in it. Just like you said. Okay, all right, Sue. Well, I'm going to ask for you again when I call back if I get to a point where I think I might be able to ask some more intelligent questions. But you've been incredibly helpful, and I appreciate your time this morning. And I'll keep looking.
Okay.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay, this is an absolute insane nightmare of Pacer.Gov, and it just sucks your money. $3 here, $5 there, $4 there, and you're bouncing around. You got 500 documents, and it's the documents are not even in order. So 216 could be after 252, and then they got these little curt descriptions about what's going on, and you got to know all this legalese junk, and I just wanted to record this and upload it, and I'll call it the nightmare of Pacer.Gov.